With attention focusing on the role of the vice president and Romney's selection for vice president, I thought that for today's history video, I'd talk a little bit about the history of the job. The vice president originally was seen as someone of some significance. He would be in charge of the Senate, and he would have an important impact on the administration and on Congress. But then John Adams took the job, and he made a mistake. He went to George Washington and criticized him on a decision Washington had made. Washington did not like that, and he announced that Adams is not going to be invited to any cabinet meetings and basically shut him out of any of the deliberations of the government. So the first vice president condemned the position to perpetual mediocrity. John Nance Gardner, who was VP in the 30s, said it's not worth a warm pitcher of spit. But most people say he didn't say spit. Anyway, so it really continued to be a non-entity. At one point, there was a musical of Thee I Sing, where a guy gets nominated for vice president on condition that nobody tell his mother. The position changed dramatically and for all time under Jimmy Carter, where he really gave Walter Mondale, it was the VP, a very significant role in policy. He brought Mondale right into the core of his administration. He gave him an office in the White House, not over in the executive office building across the street, and he included him in everything he was doing. And while the administration was a total failure, the job of vice president was enhanced. Then Reagan with Bush. You'd think that Reagan would have put Bush out to dry, but because they opposed each other in 1980 for the nomination. But Reagan liked Bush, and he brought him in and gave him tremendous power as his vice president. Quite a role. Bush, in turn, when his turn to be president came, gave Quayle a significant role. Not as significant as he'd had, but a pretty good one compared to the past history of the job. I observed firsthand how Bill Clinton used Al Gore. Gore was basically, in Clinton's opinion, the only competent member of his staff. And when he wanted something done, he would give it to Gore. Gore's point of view was, anytime Clinton asked me to do anything, I'll do it. But from then on, I own it. It's my turf. So increasing spheres of the federal government were taken out of the power of the president and moved over and given to Al Gore. First, the space program, the anti-tobacco stuff, the violence on TV, the Family and Medical Leave Act, streamlining government and reducing spending, relationships with Russia. One after another, these issues came up. Clinton needed a competent guy to deal with it, gave it to Gore, who got it done, who then made it part of his permanent bailiwick. And he insisted that if I clear with him any policy initiatives in his bailiwick, which he defined thusly. Then the job of vice president took a real jump under Bush and Cheney, where in many ways Cheney was the prime mover in the administration. Cheney was not only included in the councils, he was clearly the head of one of the two factions in the Bush White House. It was Cheney and Condoleezza Rice and Donald Rumsfeld who were the hawks on terrorism and on Iraq and Afghanistan against the doves led by Colin Powell. And Cheney really had a huge amount to do with running the Bush presidency. Now, we don't know precisely what role Biden is playing in the Obama administration. Is he just being used ceremonially or shunted out to speeches all over the place? But increasingly, the vice presidency has not only been the position where you're very likely to run for president, which it didn't used to be, it's become effectively the chief of staff for the president. That's really what Mondale was, it's really what Bush Sr. was, it's really what Gore was, and it's certainly what Cheney was. So it's been very interesting to watch the evolution of this job. Thanks for watching.